Hi guys, it's Sebastian with Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great. I'm back with another video for you today. Today we're going to do my top 10 leather fragrances, and we've got one honorable mention as well, so please stay tuned. So leather fragrances are a pretty popular genre of fragrances, or a style of fragrances, and I've been collecting them for a while now, and I've built up a good collection of at least 15. But what I've got here is 10, and also have that honorable mention. So let's get started. So my honorable mention goes to Leather Oud by Floris, not Leather Oud by Dior, as I consider that one mostly an animalic oriental fragrance with leather touches, even though it's called Leather Oud. But this one also is a leather fragrance, but has touches of the honey oud from Floris. So I like honey oud a little better, but I really do enjoy this one. It's a little more leathery with oud, but still has that honey-like accord in there. So that's why I put it at number 11. It's one that I enjoy wearing, but I pull for the honey oud more than the leather oud. But it's definitely one to try if you like leathery oud fragrances with some sweet touches. And you might actually prefer this one over the honey oud, and actually if you compare it to leather oud from Dior, you might actually prefer this one over that as well. But then again, if you like animalic fragrances, then the leather oud from Dior might be up your alley. But anyway, either way, leather oud from Floris is number 11, or my honorable mention. So at number 10, what we've got here is a fragrance called CUIR by RAMON MONEGAL. And this is a very underrated perfume house, and not a lot of folks talk about it, and I think that should actually change, because Ramon Monegal from Barcelona does have some excellent releases, and actually this is one of my favorites from the collection. It is at number 10 because I wanted to put it in there so everybody knows about this brand if you haven't heard about it. It's niche for sure. Definitely one line to check out, and this is one that I really enjoy from the brand Ramon Monegal. It's actually kind of a leather with a little bit of like a honey beeswax type touches. So kind of unique, a little on the sweet side, but still leather. Really, really awesome. CUIR. Now the CIU or CUIR in the CUIR stands for CUIR or CUIR, which means leather in French. So I'm assuming that's a play on words here. But if not, then hey, it's a unique name. So CUIR by Ramon Monegal at number 10. And number 9, this is one of the ultimate leather fragrances, but this is actually the updated version. This is KNIZE 10 Golden Edition. There's a KNIZE 10 original one. It's an Austrian brand, a clothing brand that has fragrances. And this actually says toilet water. Like in German, I guess it's Kohlenwasser or something like that. I'm not really familiar with the German language. Either way, a great leather scent. It's got a very classic touch. It actually also reminds me of the original Creed, very first Creed fragrance. I'm drawing a blank with the name. It's a leather fragrance. It reminds me of that fragrance. If you know, please comment down below which one it is. But I'm really drawing a blank. I happen to have a 30 ml decant of that original Creed release, which I really love and I'll cherish, but this one is very close, like really close to that. It's not CUIR de Russie, or maybe it could be CUIR de Russie by Creed. Creed had a CUIR de Russie, and Chanel has a CUIR de Russie, and actually CUIR de Russie from Chanel is coming up as well. But wow, beautiful scent from Creed. But if you can't get that one, this one is very close. It's KNIZE 10 Golden Edition at number 9. And speaking of CUIR de Russie, we've got CUIR de Russie here by Chanel. Now, this is kind of a very suede-y, buttery leather fragrance with a bit of like a, I don't know, something buttery comes up, like a, perhaps it's like orris butter or iris or something. It's not powdery much, but such a beautiful scent, maybe perhaps leaning feminine a little bit, but the leather is so harsh in here. It kind of comes off very harsh, which kind of makes it a lot more masculine than a traditional, feminine fragrance. But you'll be the judge yourself. Go check it out. Now this is the Eau de Toilette version of CUIR de Russie. They've all been redone as Eau de Parfums. Originally, the 200 ml bottle was $280. Now the Eau de Parfum edition is $330. So same size, 200 ml. But I haven't really tested out the difference between the two, and I got to do that. But I thought I'd snatch up a CUIR de RUSSIE and Eau de Toilette before they do the changeover, which they've done already. So CUIR de RUSSIE at number 8. A perfume house out of the UK called Papillon Perfumery, and this is called ANUBIS. Now this one is really smoky leather, and it kind of hints at CUIR de RUSSIE from Chanel, but a lot more denser. So I do want to compare CUIR de RUSSIE from Chanel in the Eau de Parfum edition, just to see if they've got any closeness to it. But this is a true original scent on its own. Again, this is another brand that hardly ever gets spoken about. It's Papillon Perfumery, as I said, and they have one of my favorite fragrances called Tobacco Rose, which I absolutely love. But the ANUBIS, this one right here, is a newer fragrance. Obviously, I've used up a bit of it, as you can see. But again, it's a great leather, indie niche perfume house from the UK, and I want to explore the house a little more. I think they have a new fragrance coming out I've seen online. My favorite of the two is Tobacco Rose, but the ANUBIS is really nice. And you can see the juice right here is really golden too. So check out ANUBIS if you get a chance. And that's at number 7. So number 6, we've got from the house of Olfactive Studio. It's Chambre Noire. This one's kind of a smoky, maybe fruity leather. It actually is really a quite beautiful scent. It's one of my favorites from the line. And they also have Ombre Indigo, which I also have. I also have Panorama, which is a fruity, spicy wasabi scent. And they have a new one coming out, but this one's the leather one from the collection. Chambre Noire basically translates to dark room, and all their fragrances are kind of photography inspired, so that's why it's called Chambre Noire, dark room. But a great name for a leather fragrance. It's on the dark side, but the plum note in here kind of makes it a little more, brightens it up a little more, and you know, it doesn't make it so heavy and dark. But great scent. If you don't know the brand, do check it out. Their bottles are getting a facelift. They've got new bottles coming out, so they'll change very soon. But for now, this is what I have here. Chambre Noire by Olfactive Studio at number 6. Number 5, fragrance from the house of MEMO Paris, and this is Italian leather. Now they have many in the series of leather fragrances from MEMO Paris. They've got Italian leather, of course, this one, French leather. They've got Irish leather. They have African leather, and now they just launched Russian leather. African leather is also nice. All the leathers are pretty nice, but this is my favorite. What I like about this one is not overwhelmingly strong leather. Plus, it's got that kind of herbal note of the tomato leaf. So it comes off green and herbal, which kind of balances out the leather. Again, the leather is not as intense as the other leathers I've been mentioning, but it is really nice scent. Very classy and masculine, and for some odd reason, kind of reminds me a bit, hints at Herod by Parfum de Marly. I don't know why. Something about the notes in here kind of comes off, but it's not the same scent. So great leather to check out. It is Italian leather from MEMO Paris at number 5. Number 4, everybody knows about this one. This is actually Tom Ford Tuscan leather, but all I have with me is Ombre Leather 16. They're very similar scents, although Ombre Leather 16 is a lot more wearable. That's what I have here, but it is a tie between the two. In the mood I'm in, I'd pull for one over the other, but lately I've been in the mood for a little less intense scent, so I pull for Ombre Leather 16. And then this one has kind of like it's definitely leather, but it has this kind of like a cloth accord or note in it. So kind of comes off leathery, clothy. I'm not sure what's causing that, but actually it's kind of a toned down version of Tuscan leather. So if you can't tolerate Tuscan leather, which I can see it's really intense, then you'd probably do great with Ombre Leather 16. So Ombre Leather 16 and Tuscan leather at number 4. So one more from an indie niche house. We've got the Cobra and the Canary by Imaginary Authors at number 3. Now this one is one of my favorite scents from the Imaginary Authors collection. It used to be my number 1, but now it's replaced with A City on Fire, but it is still one of my favorite leather fragrances. And what I like about this is the really dark leather with you know, the bright lemon note in here, which makes it very, very unique because you've got a unique scent like Memo Paris's Italian leather, which is the leather balanced out with the tomato leaf. Here it's balanced out with the lemon note, which is actually really, really unique. So, and it's very, very long lasting as well. So if you want some leather scent, not overwhelming, a little on the dirty side, but then again brightened up with lemon, do give this one a try. I think it's really a great scent. So the Cobra and the Canary at number 3. Number 2 is one of my favorite indie niche, or actually I would call it more of a niche line because it's very, very well-known line. Kind of one of the bigger indie collections, but I would group it with niche rather than indie. That is Tower Perfumes, and it is Lonestar Memories, the number 3 fragrance, as you can see, 03. This is one of my favorite leather scents. Obviously it's number 2. And what I like about this one, it smells like a 1950s car interior. I don't know why the 1950s comes up, because there's something about the kind of like a cross between vinyl and pleather and leather all together, but kind of just reminds me of that movie Pleasantville. Something about that era and the leathers from that era. I didn't live in that era, of course, but maybe it's a subconscious thing, I'm not sure. But that's what it reminds me of. But it's a great, great scent. Andy Tower had mentioned that he lived in Texas, so that's why he was inspired by Lonestar, the leather from that state to come up with Lonestar Memories. And it is definitely a great, great leather, a unique leather, and probably my number 2 or 3 favorite fragrance from Tower Perfumes, with L'air de Desert Marocain being my number 1. Do check out Lonestar Memories if you haven't yet. It's number 2. And my number 1 leather fragrance, and this one actually is similar to number 4, or the 2 at number 4, which is Ombre Leather 16 and Tuscan Leather. This is Noble Leather from YSL. And what I like about this one is the leather is toned down with dried fruit notes. You get like apricots, perhaps some berries, but more apricots and more like a peach, stone fruit type of a dried fruit with leather. So if you like, again, we have contrast here. We got the tomato leather with tomato leaf and leather with Memo Paris. We got the lemon and leather with the Cobra and the Canary. And here we got the kind of a fruity, dried fruity notes with the leather, which actually tones down that leather note really, really well. And Noble Leather by YSL is one of my all-time favorite leather fragrances, and I love to wear this one. Now, this is a collection from YSL that I don't know if it ever really took off. It never made it to any stores here, and there's probably like 5 or 6 in the collection like this. They retail for about $230, I think, or $220. And it's a 75 ml bottle. And this is my favorite from the collection. There's a few others. There's a big white floral one, and there's a rose one, and there's a wood one. So they all are great, but this happens to be my favorite from that collection. And just a great, great leather. Beautiful scent, great for winter. Love wearing it when it's cold out. That fruity note, balancing out that leather, toning it down, just makes it really, really awesome. So Noble Leather, my number 1 leather fragrance currently. All right, guys, what do you think of this list? Did I miss anything? I know this is pretty much my collection, so when I do these lists, I'm pulling from my collection, but I know there are other leather fragrances out there that I might not have, but maybe when I get it in the future, I'll add it to the list, but for now, this is what I have. If you have any of your favorites, put down comments below and let me know what they are, and perhaps I'll pick them up, and when I do this list again, I might include it at that time. But let me know what you think of these. Have you tried these fragrances? Are you interested in trying these fragrances? Of course, blind buy them if you can afford them and you're fine with the gamble of blind buying, or buy samples or decants of them. I'll have links below and you can check them out if you want. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please like it. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. There should be a subscribe button somewhere coming up right now, so that you don't miss out on future videos and giveaways that we do. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.